Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, then welcome. Welcome all. Hi, this is a shifting video. You might hear some noises in the background, like my fan going because it's really hot today. And you might hear some insanely happy laughter because it's that time of day. I am going to jump right into it. I will be timing this video because I want to try and make it not that long. And this isn't really a long video. So it's been really hot today. I look a hot mess today. I'm sweating. I have my fan on, and I hope you guys can hear over my fan. I hope I'm talking loud enough. I should actually test this video first to see if you guys can hear me, but I'll just make sure to talk a little bit louder. So the issue at hand when I went back, I shifted back twice already. I went back for Mother's Day, and so Mother's Day was really special. I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. But first, the issue that I had was with Frodo, with his, making his teeth out and come out and then chasing after people. So I talked to a friend of mine about what I should do, and they completely disagree with me. They don't agree that Frodo should be put in the lab. That's basically what I did. I headed him over to the doctor, and I said, you can examine him as much as you want. And for Frodo, what that's going to do for him is going to kind of open his eyes a little more and help him see, like, if you act like a monster, they're going to treat you like a monster. Because I honestly don't believe that Toshinori or Kato they're obviously not spanking him. I told him we all have to be on the same page. Toshinori proved it before when he was running toward me and he just grabbed him. And, Frodo thinks this whole thing is a joke. And I know that he's not 2 yet. He is almost 2. But Frodo has high level intelligence. Not to say that he's not very much like a baby. He is. But he knows what he's doing wrong. And so, like, we decided that we were going to have a sit down and talk about it, what we're going to do about it. Me, Endeavor, Toshinori, and I invited Midnight because I wanted her to be a part of it too. Because apparently she's going to be someone else coming in to help with Frodo at times. Because a lot of the times, both Toshinori and Kato have schoolwork to do. Ugh, this is like pulling my hair. I don't know what's happening here. I'm like leaning on it. So, like, Toshinori and Kago sometimes have to take classes at the same time. Sometimes Endeavor has to be away on hero stuff. And so Midnight can step in. Frodo really likes her a lot. So I think she might be like his crush. But he's too little right now for me to understand what type of crush that is yet. It's really interesting, I think. I know that he doesn't feel comfortable, going to the bathroom around her or anything like that. So, but I think they're becoming closer. The thing is, I can't be there all the time. So, Frodo, if you have to go through trauma, you're either going to have to go through trauma to learn, or you're going to have to grow some balls and become a bigger man with you. I know it's bad to be saying that to a baby, but I mean, the fate of the world lies on this. Kegel, I can't even imagine him trying to punish Frodo. He'd probably be crying all the time. Oh my God, I gotta hit you. No, like, if you're afraid to, or if you show like sadness, what I absolutely hate to see parents do when they're like, I discipline my kid, I only give spankings if I really need to. A lot of people are against it. But Frodo is necessary so he doesn't end the world. And it's not abuse if you're using it the right way. Because this is the thing. So you guys remember my first time disciplining Frodo, right? I hit him on his arm and I said, no, Frodo. Honestly, it wasn't even about hitting him. It was really about showing him that he's doing wrong by doing this. And automatically, if you have a baby that young or kid that young, they're going to start crying just because you did this, even if you. But for Frodo, I had to show him, yeah, there's consequences that come with your actions. They're not doing that, so I don't know of any other way to show. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that, but my picture is moving. and I don't want it to fall down. My fan is literally blowing it, and this might be blowing. Ugh, anyway, sorry. I got completely distracted because I'm talking to you guys, and I was just looking at that picture. But yeah, I needed Frodo to know like there's consequences that come with your actions, and they're obviously not showing it. So, little kid, if you have to be traumatized, to be traumatized. So I headed to the lab immediately. He started crying once I gave him to the doctor because this is the thing. As soon as he gets in there, it's very uncomfortable for him because I think he remembers when he was younger and he was an RE and all those tests they were doing on him as a baby. And then also, Frodo immediately gets stripped of his clothes and they start attaching all these things to him. So yeah, if you're gonna act like a monster, they're gonna treat you like a monster. I would rather do this to Frodo now as opposed to me being the only one disciplining this kid. Because now if I am the only one disciplining him, he's not gonna understand. Uh, uh, no battery? Shoot. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna pause. And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I should have checked the battery before I started the video. That's kind of embarrassing. Okay, and I had to readjust the camera and everything, and now my bowl is like kind of lopsided. It's like falling off. Absolutely, I am terrible at wearing bowls. I love wearing them though. This bowl is really old. It's been around for a long time. So anyway, back to Frodo. So I can't be the only one doing that because Frodo is always going to look at me as the one who hurts him or something like that. And also, they don't explain to him what he's doing wrong when he does it. So if I put him in here right after that action, because that was my goal, I said, okay, so since you're going to keep doing that, I'm going to give you over to the doctor. And I immediately took him and brought him over to the doctor and left him there. So I left there, and then when I came back, I felt a little bit bad. So I talked to my friend, told me I was wrong for doing that to Frodo. No kid should have to go through trauma twice, all this stuff. And I'm like, it's better than the other alternative. Because they were talking about either drugging Frodo, so he's always a stoner. So my kid will forever be like a stoner kid. Also, Frodo wouldn't be able to grow. They would basically just keep him little like that forever with this same issue forever. So I always worry about it for like eternity. And or they were gonna like basically keep him caged and away from society. And I said that, that's no way for a kid. So we sat down, we had our meeting. Midnight was there, Visionary was there, Cato, and me. And so I had the opinion, oh, Endeavor. So in my opinion, I was just telling them everything, like just telling them how I felt. I can't be there all the time, so I have to depend on you guys to do what we talked about. Toshinori looks at me and goes, well, is there any way to prove that Frodo's just bad? And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, you know what, guys? I look around, I'm like, should I get boss? And Toshinori's like, what? I was like, should I get balls? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get balls. I'm gonna get a ball sack and attach it to my wrist. You know, I should get like yeah, I should get balls on my wrist. Have them give me surgery, give me like hairy man balls. That way, when I slap you, you get a mouthful of my nuts. I said, does this make sense what I'm saying to you right now? Does this make any sense? Then, not only do I have nuts on my wrists, but I can squeeze them. And every time I squeeze them, they bust. So then I can walk by you and say, whose balls am I going to bust today? And I can squeeze them and they bust. But then they grow back with hand size like Naruto, like hairy man grows. Hairy man balls grow. Like that. Like, grow. And then they're like that. It's a big grow like boobs. They're like, and then it just busts them. And Caleb just looks at me. He's like, what the hell? And Katie died. And I'm like, do I sound like a maniac right now? Probably. Do I have a good reason for it? No. If you go to an early childhood center or somewhere where they specialize in caring for like infants with toddlers, and you tell them my kid is just bad. They're going to say, oh no, no kid is ever just bad. No baby is ever bad. There's always something else going on there. Yeah, there is something extra. The extra thing is that Frodo was bred as a monster to consume us and freaking infect us. But the problem is that he's our son and we love him and he is a baby and he actually has feelings and he has all these emotions and things. And we don't know what to do about it to treat him. There is no way to completely. Either he's going to have that doctor is a genius. The reason I gave him to him is because he's a genius. Because he is a mad scientist. I love mad scientists. Because guess what? I might be one. I might become a mad scientist someday. That is my goal. Not to become mad, but to become a scientist. But because when they discover something, it's like, oh my god, I discovered this. What else can it do? And they just go crazy finding out all these answers. And they research. Not only do they research, but they literally record everything they do, even if it's little stuff that a normal scientist probably wouldn't write down. Something they would just like off the top of their head just memorize or try to memorize. But when you have mad scientists like this, they happen to write things down. So I knew that for a fact, and I was willing to go with it because, for one, it's definitely one of those things that um, I am also interested in Frodo too, in that way. But it's not that I'm letting him torture him. He needs to find a way to fix this. And if he can't, no, there's no way to prove that, Frodo is just bad. No, there's no way to prove it. So yeah, if I get, so if I get balls on my wrist, then I can say, my balls are bigger than yours. Do this. And then whenever I feel sad, I can like rub on them and stuff. Like I was just saying some crazy shit, you know. And they were all just kind of frowning at me. I'm like, what? That's how ridiculous you sound, Toshinori. Like, you have to understand this is more important than that. And Kayla is like, I agree with you, but I don't think we should put him in the lab. And I go, look, you guys come up with what you want to do. I'll come back later and I'll talk to you guys about it. And I left and I'll talk to my friend again. Oh, Cat and Candy, now you're wrong for this. I'm still wrong. I shouldn't have to put him through trauma, whatever. Frodo will be fine. Shifted back here, right? And then I went back the next day because, surprise, surprise, it was Mother's Day, and I wanted to see what I had planned. So, what they had planned. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, Midnight was actually pretty silent during the whole meeting, but I noticed she was taking a lot of notes. I thought that was kind of weird, since we're like having a heart to heart, all of us. You're writing notes on everything we're saying. So I don't know if you're recording me to like use it against me later. I don't know that I 100% trust her, but I trust her enough with like Frodo. But ever since I made those comments about Frodo being in the lab and all that stuff, she's been like writing it down. This whole album, not just like I was just not making like a record of like all the bad decisions I'm making as a mom because that would be pretty bad. Anyway, so I go back there for Mother's Day and I go to Kato's house and I knock on the door and he opens it and he like lets me in. So I go in and there's like rose petals all over the floor, all over the counter, just everywhere. There's like a candles lit on the table and he's like, I thought we could do something special today. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And he kind of opens the shade and lets some light in. And he's like, I figured we can all make breakfast together. And I go, Frodo's here. And he's like, yeah. So he goes in the room, he gets Frodo. He brings Frodo. Um, and he just sits Frodo on the counter. And I go, hi, Frodo. Hi, my nummy gums. And Frodo is not really, um, he doesn't look upset. He doesn't look like unhappy, but he's very much not smiling because they picked him up from the lab. But he's not like smiling anymore. He's not really like, he's not really engaged with people. He kind of like isolated himself. I knew there was a chance this would happen, but the only thing we got to do is just wait for him to come out of it and see if this helps. And then maybe try and communicate with him since he knows sign. So they got all the stuff out for breakfast. So me and Kato, we were making pancakes together and making bacon and eggs. And I always put cheese in my eggs, salt, pepper, it's the works. you know, and I usually do like scrambled eggs, and I made Frodo his little portion and set it down at the table. And we have these little drops of medicine we give him now, so they put him inside. They put that inside of his little drink, his little sippy cup, and they gave that to him. And so I'm sitting there with Kato at the table, and Kato is his hand is like reaching over by where like my leg is. He's like rubbing on my leg, and then his hand is up there. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like getting my piece of the pie, and I'm like, like come here for that. And he's like, shh. And then Frodo looks over, and I'm like eating my, you know, stuff and just like kind of trying to ignore Kato to advance its toward me because we do have Frodo here, but Frodo's not really eating a lot either. He's kind of just like, and it's making me wonder if I made the right decision. Like that part of kind of bothered me, just seeing him not happy anymore. But it's like, what else was I supposed to do? What would you do if your kid was a hazard to the world? You wouldn't want to expose him, but there's a way to fix it. It's just a behavioral issue. That's what I think. I think he really is just bad. But we can't look at that and say, there's a like Frodo did, you know? There's a possibility this could be a genetic thing that we can't fix. It might have to be reset. That's something that I don't know. So I'm having my breakfast. Yeah, Kato is full on. He got his whole hand and like panties. And he's like he's using his two fingers. This the rest like that. And then he's doing this. I'm like, this guy is trying to give me like orgasm like in front of our kid who he has no idea what's going on. He's too little. And I'm just like, so like I'm like after a while, after you know, just after you get that much, you start to like, you know, convulse a little. And I was like really wet. And so like I was kind of moving a little too to try and like riding his fingers like this. And um, so then he stopped and he's like, I guess I'm gonna go do dishes. And he goes and he's like, are you all done? And I'm like, not really. He just takes my plate and he goes. I'm like, okay. So he's like, Frodo, time for your nap. And he just picks Frodo up. He doesn't even really make any eye contact with Frodo. And then he puts Frodo in his room. Like I hear him walking in there and putting him in good night. He's saying something, bye bye baby, something good night or something. I don't know. Putting him in his bed. And so like I get up out of my chair and I'm kind of like doing this a little bit. I'm just like, what the heck is happening? And so he comes back out and he's like, all right, Frodo's asleep. And he closes the door. I can clearly hear Frodo crying behind the door. And I'm like, Kato, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. He's just a little upset. It's fine. He's like, you want to help me with the dishes? And I'm like, I guess. It's feeling a little awkward and weird now. So I'm getting up and walking over toward the counter. So the table is here, like in front of like next to the counter. You got the table. All right. So I don't want to confuse you guys. If you guys remember, Kegel has a marble countertop. It's got like the white underneath it, and like so the countertop is a gray marble. Okay. And then his table is over here to the side, and his dishwasher and everything and cabinets is all like in the countertop, which is shaped kind of like a square. Usually it's an L shape, but this one is square for some reason. I don't know. So I go over, I'm like putting this stuff in, and Keigo's not really helping me. He's kind of just watching. And I'm like, okay, rinse these off and put them in here. And I've never opened up his dishwasher before, but it's all basically like metal. It's weird. I don't know if that's because in this VR it's just so different. So I put all the dishes in, it's like clinking, and then I close it, and I'm like, and it's like an advanced like washer or something. And so like I'm doing this, and he gets behind me, and he's like this button. He comes around me, he like presses it, and then he like as he's coming back, he like brushes his lips across my ear, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, thanks for helping me with the dishes. And then he's like, what about those? And I look in the sink, and the sink has like all these dishes. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, is this really my DR? And I go, wait, this doesn't feel right. It feels weird and off about this. Okay, he sits me on top of the counter, and I'm like, oh. And he moves it in, and he's like, so then he's like kissing me, and we're like making out and stuff. He takes his shirt off, and he like throws it on the floor, and then he's like lifting up like my dress, and I'm like, it's been pretty hot there too. He's like lifting up my dress, he's pulling off my pants, and like putting his hands like putting his hands like in me. And then he pulls me to the edge of the counter, and then he takes off his pants. And, like he goes in me, penetrating me, but he has me like pinned. It's in a weird position because my back is bent weird, and my leg is kind of like in the air, but my other one is like hanging off the counter, like off the. It's right next to the sink, and I'm like, here you go. I'm like, wait. And he's like, no, no, and I'm like, no. When did you ever tell me no? And so then he stops for a minute. In the midway, like I'm just about to like start like climaxing, but he stops midway, and he takes his hands, and he like rubs his hands to the hair, and he kisses me again, and I'm like, why is he so different? Why is he acting so weird today? And so then he like backs off of me, and he's like, I'm like, you want to take this to your room? And he's like, no, I just want you. And I'm like, okay. So I walk up to him, and I start, I start kissing him and touching him, trying to like be working him through again because it's hard. And then I'm like, I push him down like on the floor of like the kitchen, and he's staring up at me like it's it's kind of a weird look. So then I'm like, and then he takes my arm, and he just like pulls me to him. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. Okay, you're gonna realize it in a minute. So then, no spoilers though. I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. But then he pulls me down to him, and I'm sitting on him. I'm cowgirling him, like riding him, and I'm like, ah, yeah, like that. And he's like, then he slows down, and he's like, it's almost like he's trying to like savor every like moment of like the feeling or something. I don't know. People do that like sometimes during like intercourse, or like if they're like making love with each other or whatever. It feels really good. They do that. They try and slow it down. They have more like pleasure, I guess. But then it's weird. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it to you. You guys hear weirdness in the back? I hear a lot of weirdness. So then he like starts pounding me. Like he turns me over and like puts my hands behind my back. And like but I'm like completely naked. He had like ripped my clothes, and I'm just like, this is a different side of him. Like he's never usually like rough or like this. So then he still doesn't like he hasn't even like he hasn't exploded. Like his meat popsicle hasn't popped yet. It hasn't like exploded in me yet. And I'm trying to make that happen so I can get like love note from him. And so like I'm doing everything I can. I'm like moving my body and stuff, but he just seems to be like just hard. So then he goes in deep, and he's like, He's like really in there, and I'm like, okay, wait. I'm like, wait, just. And he's like, just what? And then his eyes like glow red, and I'm like, oh, crap. So his eyes started glowing red, and I'm like, Kago, and I'm like, so now I'm like trying to get him to like get off of me and trying to like stop him and kind of like fighting him a little bit. And then I see my guide. His face goes like through him to me. Gosh. When I have to call on my guide to rescue me like that, it really drives me insane because it gives me such a stomach ache. It hurts so bad. I woke up. Okay, listen to my words, guys. Okay, listen to my words. I woke up. What don't I do, guys? What don't I do when I shift? Tell me the one thing I do not like to do. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, if you've been following me, you know there's one thing I don't do when I shift. Why don't I do it? Because I have no control over it. So me thinking I went back there for Mother's Day, guess what, guys? I didn't actually shift anywhere. I must have fallen asleep. And I was pulled there by a different KO, someone else with a possession problem. Man. All right, so that being said, Mother's Day, did I really go there for Mother's Day? No, I didn't. I went to an alternate reality that was different from my hero, another my hero. But I woke up like, guys, I woke up panting, like, my breath, like, just a mess. Like, it felt like made a mess of me, and I didn't do anything. Yeah, I got up and I got showered and everything, and I'm just like, that was a weird experience. And I haven't tried to shift since then because I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to because ask me how that happened. I don't know. Maybe it's because of all the talk that was going on with Frodo. I knew something was weird though. He was a little colder toward Frodo, and Frodo did not seem like himself either. So that should have been a first line. Like, it looked this person, whoever this was, looked exactly like Kago. They weren't Kago, but they were gonna forcefully like keep going. They were probably one of these people who could keep going and going and going forever and just never stop. I would probably never ever be able to like, I don't know. I just wonder. Nobody has the ability to transform themselves besides Toga. Toga's a girl. Doubt she's gonna change to a guy just to like, fuck you to oblivion or whatever. You know, I doubt it. Like, that wasn't her. And their eyes glowed red. Like, whose eyes glow red? When I'm gonna get a chance, I'm gonna look and see who that is. Is there someone in my hero who has red eyes like that? Who can like transform their body into someone? Also, was this an illusion? Because Frodo was definitely there. I know you guys didn't see this coming. I'm kind of really slow to talk about it right now. I really am because I don't understand what happened myself. Also, this video is probably so freaking long. By the way, I forgot to mention this is a really cringy video. But we went from it seemed like a normal makeout session to, at first it was slowly pulling everything off, and then all at once he had to just rip everything, and it was on the floor before I knew it. And I'm like, what the heck? It's almost like the earth, wherever I was, it kind of like it moved me upside down when I ended up on the floor. Okay, it's almost like you're sitting upright, but then you're turned like that instantly. But you're not hurt. It's not like you fell into the ground. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Just the whole thing is just kind of weird. So ever since then, I've had this weird ache in my belly because it's kind of one of these things where. Sorry, guys, that was my alarm. I was trying to time this video. That's why I said it. So probably time for me to. Yeah, it's probably time to end the video. Sorry guys, let me just do this. I want to talk to you guys about what, because the shift was not really a real shift that I was trying to do. It was actually basically me falling asleep. Um, but when I fell asleep at some point, I was obviously cold. It's really hard to tell a viewer, like, there are other places where people can pull you places that can make you really tired and drain your energy from your body and make it so that you pass out. The thing that concerns me the most is I'm a little bit confused about the whole thing. I just don't want to remember how or why it happened to me or when it exactly it happened. Like, I remember very little before that. I remember the conversation we had before, and it was about Frodo and everything like that. And then later, it seemed like the next day, you guys know I don't usually shift right after another shift. I usually have to go back again, and it's like separate from each other. So it's like usually 3 days out of the week I'm shifting. Because remember, guys, when I go on the video, I tell you guys when it happened, when I went this time, and then I went back and usually like that. And then my third time I go back is for Frodo, and I don't really like share with you guys what I do when I'm there with Frodo because it's kind of my personal time with him. I do give you guys a little bit of information to keep you updated, but 90% of the time I don't. So it's kind of like it's just one of those things. But my guide going through me like that while he was in the middle of, we had a good rhythm going. He was like calming me. It was getting really hot and intense. Like it was really intense. And then my guy just comes in and just complete boner killer. Yeah, he's a boner killer. He like completely killed. He killed my boner because when your guy, I gotta say that my guy was actually in me, like that pound. Yeah, it was him. Looked great, but at the same time, with that becomes all this. With it becomes extenuating, like pain and just bone crushing. Like I said, it's just a boner killer. So yeah. So I came back here and um, as soon as I got back, I immediately got up, I showered and stuff. I'm just like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be dealing with some dizzy spells. I'm gonna be dealing with some aches for a while until this is completely washed through. I just don't. There's still a lot I don't understand, but I understand more than what a normal person would about it. Am I door open? Um. Anyway, if you guys have questions about this, don't forget to write the questions in the comment. I guess I'm gonna end the video here. I would like to talk more on this. If you guys are interested, then um, hit me up in my Discord. It's completely dead. There's like no one. I even said like hello zombies or would I say good morning zombies or I had a few people tell me hey, but my channel is like my Discord is officially dead. Um, but yeah, I needed to tell you guys about this experience because I just feel like it's almost like I lost part of some type of memory or something. I don't know. It's so weird and it's so unusual. Um, the other, I don't know. I didn't think it'd get more. I didn't think it'd get more weirder than what it was, or just I thought I knew what I was doing. There was Madara. Remember, guys? Remember that? And then there's whoever this person is. Like, how do I even know if I'm in the right place now? Now that I know there's like imposters or whatever. It couldn't have been someone there unless they cast an illusion on me the entire time. And I actually wasn't at Giggles. It couldn't have been Giggles' house. It was definitely an illusion. So I don't really know what happened. I try to explain everything in detail to you guys. I usually tell you guys once and I don't go back and keep explaining it over and over. But I feel like if I add more detail, you guys can actually be at the scene and kind of see it that way. So um definitely definitely um yeah. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you hated it, then also don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when other videos like this one become available. Ding! That I got distracted for a minute. Someone like opened my door. Like I know they can hear me talking in here to you guys. It's just like, it's so annoying. Anyway, we'll talk about this more in my next video. My time had already run out, so um, yeah, if you guys have questions or anything, leave it in the comments. I'll try and answer them as best I can. I am going to be doing more research into this. There's also the thing I've been doing the whole time that I was telling you guys about before, when I was saying I was just peeking into places that might also have a lot to do with it. I also haven't been able to get rid of those aches yet. Oh my God. Yeah, it is. The guy really is a powerful thing when they actually enter you, even if they're the guy has never entered me here in this reality. Like when I say enter, like not me how he entered, like intercourse. I mean, like spiritually, it's a really powerful thing. It changes you. Um, you start to notice different things from days. I was supposed to say this video, wasn't I? Okay, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.